Coming up on today's show, could the Chiefs be in the trade market for Diontae Johnson of the Carolina Panthers? We will talk about that possibility and weigh in on the newest Chiefs trade rumor in just a bit. Also, Kelvin Joseph, could he be making a return to Kansas City after initially missing out on the Chiefs' 53-man roster on cutdown day? We'll explain more in just a little while. For right now, Tyler Jones here with you. Appreciate you joining us. Before we go any further in today's show, folks, I want to set a new like record for the month of September. The most likes we've had on a video for the entire month is 558, which I'll say is pretty good. But we can do better than that, folks. I want to get to 600 likes on today's video. If you love your Kansas City Chiefs, if you're a diehard fan, if you're glad to be hanging out with us here in the Chiefs Report today, do your part. Like the video, and we'll get rolling here on today's show. Fansided has suggested that the Chiefs should be in the trade market for Carolina Panthers wide receiver Diontae Johnson. Johnson was traded to Carolina back in March from the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Carolina Panthers have been one of the worst teams in the NFL to start off the season. And despite Johnson just getting there, because of how bad the Panthers are, there is a belief that they could trade him among a number of players at the trade deadline, as they're expected to be sellers. And the Chiefs, their wide receiver situation, a little questionable right now since the injury to Hollywood Brown. They haven't necessarily replaced him. Could Johnson be the answer they're looking for? Here's more from Fansided. Kansas City has a solid wide receiver core coming into the season. Rashee Rice, Hollywood Brown, and Xavier Worthy is more than enough weapons for Patrick Mahomes. Throw in Travis Kelce and Isaiah Pacheco, and you have one of the more talented offensive units in the league. But Brown and Pacheco are now set to miss quite a bit of time with injuries, and Kelce has struggled out of the gate. Kansas City could use an additional weapon, and Johnson would be the perfect route runner to add to Mahomes' offense. Now, I understand the logic here that the Chiefs' receiving core is a little shorthanded right now. And I understand why you would think this team might need to be weighing their options and potentially go shopping and look for a guy like Johnson. But for me, until it costs this team in the win-loss column, I don't see the need to make a move just yet. Now, maybe by the trade deadline, things change, and it becomes obvious to us that the Chiefs need to make a move. But at least for now, you're still winning football games. It might not be pretty, but it's good enough to get the job done right now. And I don't think this Chiefs team's come close to playing to their full potential yet. You look at the Chiefs receiving core through the first three games. Rashee Rice has been fantastic. He is second in the league in receiving yards, first in catches, tied for ninth in touchdowns. But beyond that, it has been pretty bleak. Xavier Worthy's had a few moments here and there. Travis Kelce yet to get going. We've seen a few catches from Justin Watson, and obviously Pacheco is out of the lineup right now. But when it comes to Johnson, the price tag is a bit too steep for my liking here of what it would take to bring in Diontae Johnson, of the trade idea that Fansided has proposed. They are proposing that the Chiefs give up a 2025 third-round pick, a 2026 fifth-round pick, and a 2025 seventh-round pick. 3 picks in all, including that third-rounder, to bring in Johnson, who I'll say Johnson's a decent receiver, but he's not one of the best in the league by any stretch. A Pro Bowler back in 2019, was a second-team All-Pro, and was really good to begin things in Pittsburgh, but he hasn't looked as good as what he used to be. He's still a decent receiver, but to me, that's a lot for a guy whose production has gotten worse over the last couple of seasons. Here's what I mean. When you look at the statistics, 2021, over 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns. And then in 2022, playing in more games, his catches went down. His yards went down. Didn't have a single touchdown. Last year, yardage and catches went down again. His yards per catch did go up. Got 5 touchdowns. He's off to a decent start to this season with 13 catches for 156 yards and a touchdown. He'd probably be your number 2 or number 3 receiver in this offense. But to me, that is asking a lot for a guy that has had a downward trajectory at this point in his career. Your chance to be Brett Veach here in the Kansas City Chiefs Report. Should the Chiefs trade for Diontae Johnson? Type T for trade, type P for pass. Weigh in and let us know. The Kansas City Chiefs Report is bringing you nonstop Kansas City Chiefs coverage with our daily news and rumors, our live shows every Tuesday, watch parties for almost every game this season. This is your one-stop shop for all things Kansas City Chiefs. If you are a real member of the Chiefs Kingdom, you got to be subscribed to the Chiefs Report. Help us reach our next milestone of 59,000 subscribers here on the channel. YouTube.com/ChiefsTV. Lock us in. Never miss a moment. Let's talk Kelvin Joseph now, as Arrowhead Addict is suggesting that the Chiefs should consider bringing back Kelvin Joseph to the Kansas City Chiefs. If you recall, Kelvin Joseph was an impact player, had a pretty decent training camp and preseason, ultimately missed out on the active 53-man roster on roster cutdown day, goes to the Colts, and the Colts have already released him from their active roster just a few weeks in. So what about the idea of bringing him back? There's more from Matt Connor of Arrowhead Addict. It's a bit odd to think that the NFL has no use for Joseph after watching him put up impressive practices and preseason reps for the Chiefs this summer. If it wasn't for a bevy of talent already in-house, it feels like a safe assumption that Joseph could have stuck around in some fashion. But the competition was simply too great. Joseph proved himself to be a physical tackler while on defense for the Chiefs and forced a fumble on a punt return against the Detroit Lions, showing off his value on special teams. He's a physical force with a nose for the ball who once showed enough upside to be a second-round choice back in 2021 for the Dallas Cowboys. I totally get where Arrowhead Addict is coming from here, but with where the Chiefs are at, as they mentioned, when it comes to the guys competing for those spots, I don't think things have changed between where Kelvin Joseph was at when he was let go by the Chiefs compared to where he is at now. It's not like that the Chiefs have had these corners just look so bad that Kelvin Joseph would all of a sudden have a spot on this active roster. I don't believe that to be the case. If you're the Kansas City Chiefs, in all likelihood, if you brought him in, he would be going to the practice squad at this point in time. And the Chiefs have added a couple guys at that corner spot to the practice squad. So, with that said, bringing in Kelvin Joseph, I would sit here and I would say, all right, if he's going to be a practice squad player, that's fine. But I don't think things have changed where he belongs on the active roster necessarily. Joseph, a journeyman in the NFL over the last few years, with the Cowboys, the Dolphins, the Seahawks, the Chiefs, and the Colts, did get a ring on the practice squad for the Chiefs last year for the former top draft pick out of Kentucky. But I just don't see it for Kelvin Joseph here. And when I look at the Chiefs' corner situation, we'll show more in just a bit. I think that this team is better off than what people give them credit for. And we'll show you some numbers and explain why here in just a moment. Should the Chiefs sign Kelvin Joseph? What do you guys think? Type Y for yes, in for no. Way in the comment section. Let us know what you guys think. We have Xavier Worthy jerseys on sale now. He is worthy. Get yours now at chatsports.com/worthy. Free shipping available. Got the home whites, home red. Got the road whites, men's and women's options for you. Go see for yourself. Chatsports.com/worthy. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. Free shipping available as well. And you can see all the other stuff that we're selling there on that same link, chatsports.com/worthy. So then the next question becomes, how big is the concern for the Chiefs corner room at this point in time? And personally speaking, a lot of the outside noise that we've heard really since the Chiefs moved on from L'Jarius Sneed was, I feel, greatly exaggerated when it comes to this corner room. Is it one of the strengths of this team? Not necessarily, but it's not as bad as people would let on to be for this group. Trip McDuffie's had a great start to this season. His grades, according to PFF, are 71 or higher in almost every category except pass rush, and honestly, he doesn't need to be rushing the passer that much and still has a 68 grade. You can see Jalen Watson with a 62.6, Joshua Williams with a 58.3, Johnson with a 52.4. You look at some further statistics of the past defense rankings, they could be better, no question about it. 58.64% opponent pass play percentage, that's 23rd in the league. Completion percentage, 15th at 65.09. Opponent yards per pass, 7.0, that's 22nd. Opponent passing yards per game, 247.3, that's 28th. Opponent interception percentage, 0.94, 27th. But those numbers, relative to the rest of the league, the Chiefs have had one of the tougher schedules to start the season, where those numbers are, I think, inflated compared to some of these other teams based on their opponents. You faced Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, and Kirk Cousins here. Now, if things change when you face some easier quarterbacks, if you will, those numbers will improve. So to be at that spot 3 weeks in, I can live with that. I don't think this is as much of a problem as people let on that it is. What is your concern level for the Chiefs corner room right now? If you had to scale it for me, what would it be? 1 through 10. Wait in the comments section. Let us know what you think. If you enjoyed today's show, if you love your Kansas City Chiefs and want to set that like record, do your part. Like today's video. We certainly would appreciate it. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day, and we will see you next time right here on the Kansas City Chiefs Report.